Good morning. Today it's July 10th, and you know what? I checked the weather. It says it's going to be in the low 90s. So if there's nothing else to celebrate today, let me tell you, this day, God has made it for you and me to rejoice and just to be glad in it. I want to ask you a question. What makes you feel secure? And I can't hear your answer, but I'm expecting an answer. What makes you feel secure? To the few people around me that I've asked this question, their question back was, Pastor, what do you mean with what makes me feel secure? So here's a statement that can answer that question. What gives you security is the source that you've placed your trust on. Let me say that again. What gives you security is the source that you've placed your trust on. Friends, recently we witnessed this world was shaken. The source of its security was broken, was weak, was not perfect, and finally, and I'm hoping we were able to understand that perhaps we had placed our source on the wrong person, on the wrong thing, on the wrong source. You know, secure, it's a simple word. It literally means to feel free from care, which means you have to trust that someone else will care for you. That's why you feel free from care. You can rest and be still. Let me share a personal experience with you. When I was 4 or 5 years old, I was terrified when at night my mom would take me to my room and put me to sleep. As soon as she would turn off that light, I cannot express how much fear would come into my heart. But when she would close the door, I could see that sort of a bar of light that would come in from the living room. And that, as long as I would look at that light, I felt secure. You know why? Because that reminded me that the people that I've trusted with, they were awake. They were in the living room. They would care for me. So I could sleep trusting that they will take care of me. What gives us security is the source that we've placed our trust on. There's a wonderful Bible passage that has taught many to fix their trust in the right source, in God, and enjoy God's promises as security. We know them as benedictions. What is a benediction? It's a declaration of blessings from God upon those who He loves. Those are words of assurance with the intent to bring joy and peace and comfort, security when we place our trust in God. Let me read it for you. This is Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 and 7. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. The first phrase, be anxious for nothing. You know what he's telling you? That genuinely and completely you can feel secure. That you can allow God to care for you. And this God, unchanging, all-powerful, is willing to tell you, to remind you that He wants to be your source of security. You feel anxious when you are uncertain of the outcome. But remember that your outcome is directly conditioned by who you're trusting with. Who have you placed your security on? It says in everything, let God know your request. How? By prayer. Someone has said prayer cures anxiety. I have to pray more. You have to pray more. By supplication, which means ask Him earnestly and humbly. And third, with thanksgiving. That's where our faith is. To thank Him knowing God will give, God will supply, God will never change. Third one says, may the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, guard your heart and minds through Christ Jesus. When we know that our source of trust is in God, put attention to these words. Not everything needs to make sense for us to feel secure. Not everything needs to be under control for us to feel secure. Not everything needs to be understood for us to feel secure. The peace of God which is the result of our trusting God, the Word said it surpasses all human, logical, and natural understanding. That's what it means to feel secure and trust God. So be anxious for nothing, feeling God's security. Take it to the Lord in prayer. That's the act of obedience. And enjoy the peace of God, which is the fruit of trusting in God. Now do me a favor. Would you let someone know about your source of security? And if you don't know how to put it together, simply read for them the benedictions. Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 and 7. God bless you.